Hello, good afternoon and welcome to today's vlog, Thursday the 26th of February. Hope everybody is well and had a good day. Going to do things in reverse today, so I'm just going to talk about today first and a couple of bits at the end. Excuse me. So yesterday afternoon, after I left you, I was looking for work and yeah, nothing was around. Yeah, very quiet. A bit on a couple of jobs, longer range jobs, can't remember the details now, but didn't get anything, no great surprise, anything over 150 miles plus I seem to really struggle with. So yeah, left it last night. I thought we'll have a look this morning. As always, I think like most areas, nothing really comes alive till about 8:30, 8:45, 9 o'clock. So it's always a little bit disappointing because I do like an early start. On the way taking the wife to the station this morning, I logged on to CX about 6:10 and there was a job sitting there. A job to pick up between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. It had come on the system at 6 a.m. from Colchester, going to Romford for a large van, 45 miles. Wasn't any problems. It was quite not that far from where I'm dropping the wife off at the station, so I put a price of £75 on it, said I would be there in about 25 minutes. Didn't get a phone call, job just got sent straight through to me. It is a shipper I do work for. I think obviously someone's let them down at the last minute, problem with a van, or a driver, the customer hadn't turned up for work, one of the two, but no problems. That's a result for me. On site 6:45, it was two large drums of cable. Not a great problem getting in, both sitting on pallets, so they were both forked on. There's always a little bit of a pain strapping down, I find, things like drums, but anyway, it was all done. Off site by 6:55. Delivery was requested at 8 o'clock, but there was obviously no way I was going to make that. I did have a contact on site. It was going to a school, so I did message them straight away and just said, look, I'm not going to be there till about 8:30, 8:45, just traffic dependent. Didn't hear anything back, and I got on site 8:30. No dramas. Yeah, we just had to work out exactly where it went. They didn't have a forklift to take it off, so it took 4 guys to sort of put the drums on upright, if you like, and then roll them off through the side of the van. Couldn't do it through the back of the van because of the weight. I was a little bit worried about the rear bumper. Anyway, it's all done. So I'm in Romford on the borders of Hornchurch there, where I used to live, which is always nice. I knew exactly where I was going to go. I need to get some fuel, so I've gone for some fuel and grabbed a coffee at the petrol station as well, which is fine. And that's changed from a BP to an Essex since I was last there. Wow. And then again, we start the game. We start the game that we have every day. There was about a dozen vans locally in the area of Havering, not too bad. There was a job I looked at straight away that came up from Basildon going to West 1 and South West 1, but it said in the notes, whilst it was only about a dozen or so cartons for each delivery, they had to be handballed downstairs, obviously into shops. I didn't really fancy that. One was going to West 1 and the other one onto South West 1, so I'd give that a swerve. There was a nice job from Ilford going to Colne in Wiltshire, and wait and return, small van job, total of £230. I thought that would be a perfect one job to do for the rest of the day, so I went reasonably low, I think, at 190. I didn't get that job. There was a job from Basildon going to Northampton, small van, 93 miles, put £90 on that, didn't get that one. And there was a job from Rainham going to Northwest 4, 32 miles, just stick £60 on that, but didn't get that one either. I did finally win a job at about 11:15. It was a job from Barking going to Basildon. It's not that many miles, it's probably about 20 odd miles. Not getting desperate again. I'm not saying I'm getting desperate, but I need to get busy. I need to go and get a second job of the day. I was in two minds. It was a shipper, never heard of, no feedback, but about a dozen or so positive feedbacks on delivery. So I'm thinking it's obviously an owner driver. put a price of £40 on it. It was a small van job. Got a phone call fairly quickly, presumably not from the driver but his wife, and she said, yeah, I'll send the details over. Literally just sort of got out of where I was parked and got onto the road, a minute down the road, and she rang back and said, just spoken to the customer and the job's cancelled. I think that makes me think it's an owner driver, but also a bit of a bedroom shipper merchant. Yeah, they're playing the CX or playing the system somewhere. Anyway, I suppose technically I'm on the road. I could demand a £30 cancellation charge, but I've been a minute down the road. They've got no feedback. I'm probably going to get into an argument, and to be honest, I couldn't be bothered. I just said thank you very much and terminated the call. Luckily though, 5 minutes later, another job popped up, this time from Rainham. I was about 15 minutes away. It was a booking for 11:15, so that was perfect. Going to Haverhill. Again, a shipper I haven't worked for, but they're always posting, just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Feedback's fine, so I've got nothing to worry about there. It was a large van, 66 miles. Did I say going to Haverhill? I think I did. Put a price of £70 on it. Got a phone call straight away, which was good. On site, yeah, about 11. It didn't go wrong, the job. I'm not saying it went wrong, but I obviously when the details come through, you look at it quite intently, and it is a company I've picked up before, and there are building merchants building stroke motions. Go to the trade counter, a bit of a queue there. Gave them the collection reference number, they give me the paperwork, then you go a little bit further up the yard to a particular door to collect the stuff, and it's one of these where they bring the stuff up but you've got to load it yourself. I had 12 bundles, each bundle contained 10 thin steel poles. Not a great problem loading yourself, except the poles are 3.8 metres long and my internal is 3.54. It's the old problem if you're going to have a long wheelbase. Some long wheelbases, their internal is a lot longer, 3.7, 3.8. I think really this should be an extra long wheelbase van, but they don't have that category, I don't think, on the CX. I might be wrong. Anyway, what it means to do, it's a pain. It means I've got to get them in, angle them up against the headboard, against one of the doors. Yeah, it's a bit of a pain. It's very, very difficult to try and strap. I managed to get some bungee ropes around it to try and sort of hold it into place as best I could. Bit of a ball ache, and it took about half an hour to do, so I wasn't off site till about 11:40. Anyway, off to Haverhill, got there at just after 1:05. But it was lunch really. They're all sitting there stuffing their faces, they didn't say it, but I think the general assumption was that they're not going to do anything until they've had their lunch and finished their lunch. It is 1 o'clock, and I suppose people are entitled to a lunch break. They just said if you want, just take them off and put them on the side there. So I thought, okay, well I managed to put them on, I'll get them off. So that's what I did, got them all off myself, and I was done and off site by 1:25. So I suppose I'm 10-15 minutes in front if I'd waited for them. I'm in Haverhill. I was starving. I really was hungry. I'd not had anything really to eat or much that day. Didn't have much for breakfast. I treated myself to McDonald's. I know I shouldn't, but there we go. So anyway, it's grilled chicken. That's not that bad, is it? It's maybe just the fries and the apple pie, not so good, but hey ho. After that, I parked up. I went out to leave McDonald's because I was going to expire the 90 minutes or whatever time limit. So I went and parked up down the road, and a couple of little lay-bys you can go and park in. Yeah, it was starting to look a bit bleak, but I did win a third job, and it's from Sudbury, to pick up. Well, the job was to pick up by 3:30. I did say to the shipper I won't be there till about 4:20, but he was fine with that. It was for a small van. It's going 27 miles to Clacton-on-Sea, which I bid £50 for. I thought I've got to get that job. That's pretty much taking me home and will turn it into a decent day. So I've got that on board now. I'm going to be on site for about 4:45. It's one pallet with about a dozen boxes on. They're very light, so if they have to come off by hand, that's not going to be an issue. So that will be the day. That will be a 75, a 70 and a 50. So it's 195, so I'm happy with that. That's at the top end of my bracket for the day. Tomorrow, I've actually won 2 jobs tomorrow, and I haven't bid for anything. I got a phone call this morning. My mate runs a haulage company. He said, don't suppose you're in London tomorrow, or their London area. I wasn't planning, but what have you got? And he said, I've got some flight cases that have been left behind at the O2, and they need to go to High Wycombe. It can be picked up any time during the day, but they do need to be back in High Wycombe by 6 o'clock tomorrow evening, because they're going out on another tour on Saturday. But I said, no, I'll do that. He said, I'll give you 150 quid. Well happy with that. That's a top rate. I'm pleased with that. So I thought I just got to try and find a job down to sort of London, or that area, south of Essex or Kent, something will do. Lo and behold, just after lunch, before I even started looking, customer rang me. I did a job the other day from Braintree to Crawley, and that job's there again tomorrow. He said, do you want it? I said, yep, that'll do. That's £100 job. So I've got 2 jobs tomorrow paying £250, so that's lovely. I can pick that up in Braintree at about 7:30 tomorrow morning, down to Crawley, be there comfortably by 10. I would have thought, drop that stuff off. It was nice and straightforward and easy. Make my way up to the O2. I know the gig at the O2. I know where you got to go and where the stuff is. Get that on, and then I can make my way around to High Wycombe, go M25 south, M25 north, or if I fancy it and the traffic isn't too bad, I'll just go through the centre of town, avoiding the congestion charge. I'm going to get that off tomorrow around lunchtime, just after lunch. Going to call it a day. I'm out tomorrow night, so I'm not going to fanny around in Friday afternoon doing work. I'm just going to get back on the M40, M25 and get home. So on to other things. When I did my budget, I did one back, I think it was around about October time, can't remember now. I mentioned in that I was planning to perhaps do 3-day weeks during January and February when it was a bit quiet, and I haven't done that. I've sort of tried to stick it out every day, and the reason for that is when I was doing a bit of forward planning, I've got a really bitty March and April. I'm away for a week on holiday. I've got a couple of long weekends away. I've got a wedding anniversary. I've got 2 funerals. I've got the dog to the groomers. I've got a couple of medical appointments. I need to get the garden straight at some stage, and I hate doing that at the weekend, because weekends are for rest and relaxation if I can. And then in April, obviously the first 2 weeks are taken up with Easter holidays, and that first weekend is my birthday weekend, so I will be doing some stuff on that weekend. Today is my 100th video. I did 50 and had a little break, so I'm going to do the same again. I think there's no point me doing videos in March. They can start to become a little bit repetitive. I try to make them interesting where I can, with some other snippets and bits and pieces. And yeah, all I really do these videos before, as you know, I was inspired by Tommy Courier Services, who I no longer see or hear. He's blocked me or disappeared. I don't know, he's disappeared off CX anyway. And I just try to be honest with these videos and give you an idea what I'm getting for jobs, so you know whether you're doing better, worse, or about the same. And if I can throw any snippets of information in there, I will do so. But it's going to be a very bitty next 4, 5, 6 weeks, and I don't think there's much point in trying to put out a video every day if I've only done one job or I'm not working for a couple of days. I don't put a great amount of effort into these videos, as you probably know. They're done on my iPhone, they're done while I'm driving along, which is why you never see me, because it's a lot easier than doing it stationary and filming me. Plus you don't really want to look at me for 10-12 minutes. Yeah, and then they're just uploaded onto YouTube. Apologies, last night's one was a little bit late. It normally uploads quite easily by itself, but I realised about 6 o'clock last night it sort of stuck and needed a bit more prompting, so last night was a little bit late. But anyway, I'm going to have a break, so I thank you very much for all those people that comment. If you still want to send me a message or ask me something, please do so. My details are on CX if you're on CX. If you're not, feel free to do it through YouTube. I do look at YouTube every day anyway, so I will see if a message comes up. Yeah, and that's it really. That's all I've got to say, I think. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes, comments, subscribes, etc. I will be back. I'm not going to drop off it altogether, but I just think it's do a little break. Back in probably the middle of April, and hopefully then things are all back to normal. Then the weather should be decent. We've got Easter out of the way, and then hopefully we can start to look forward to Easter in May and June, and hopefully we'll all be doing really, really well and earning some good money. But in the meantime, keep watching the other guys, Anvil Courier Collective, Saints Man. I'm sure there's some others I miss out, so yeah, you know, keep supporting these guys. Delivery Man will hopefully be back in a few weeks once he's had his op. And yeah, take care. I wish you all the best, and we'll speak in about 6 or 7 weeks. Thanks very much. Take care now, Paul.